How would you like to meet someone who creates time and grueling yet rewarding music program? How would you like to learn about the sport of the arts? How would you like to learn about sports that challenge mind, body, and soul? How would you like to know what marching production is and all about? Our guest today will tell you about this and more. In the Humanities Communication Art Department of North Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces the television future writers, directors, and personalities. And now join us with our host, James Bell, to meet the new director.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of The New Directors. All of the people involved with this program are students in the television production course and are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guests you are about to meet are students who, when not on camera, are behind the scenes working hard to bring this program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student will write and direct 4 different productions. This program will give them the chance to talk about themselves, the production they have completed, and give you the chance to get to know them and watch their progress throughout the semester. Our guest today is a person who, when not attending class and working, is committed to grueling and rewarding music programs, writing various types of stories and poems, and trying to see the world from another's point of view through Carla, her Nikon. She has a life goal to see with the world and many other different point of views she can. I'd like you to meet today's guest, Andrea Ojeda. You are involved in various music programs that take up a lot of your free time. What are these programs and why are you willing to devote time to them?
These programs are called marching percussion for the most part. That's what I involve myself in, is the percussion side of it. There's a marching band, which is what you do in high school, and drum and bugle corps, which is what higher up level musicians do. And I'm involved in one level of that, and I'm also involved in the more theatrical and fast-paced version of percussion, which is indoor percussion. I devote so much time and time to it because it's something that it just offers so much that people never really know until they do it. It truly is something that you have to do in order to appreciate. The mental and physical strength needed for it is immense. Obviously, marching a show at a very fast tempo is difficult on its own, but then mentally staying in and having to remember the music you play, having to remember to perform the music and connect to the crowd, and the technique that you need to play and you need to march, and also being in tune with the people who also march and play around you. And that's all the mental strength needed in order to stay that way. And it's very difficult and challenging, and it's amazing the skills that you can apply from these programs into real life. And another great thing about it is the fact that you never do something the same every year. Every show, every season that you have with this, there is a new show that you do. It's a new original piece of work, and it's something that you can call your own along with another group of people who take pride in it just as much as you do. And through that pride and through all that hard work that you do, you could do up to 24 plus hours weekly in practice, even more than that. And you're with these people all the time, and like I said, you take pride in the work that you do, and that pride and that work and that sweat, the blood and tears from it, it builds a family from these people that you never thought would happen at first, but because you all come together for this same goal, for this same music, it happens. This right here is a meeting of winter percussion. I have the privilege now of not only marching but also teaching, and these are all just little photos of the different sections. The cymbals is one section, and next are the snares. These kids get the chance to audition for any drum they want. We give them fair chance, and no matter where they audition, we always give them the feedback in order to get better, to improve, and come back to that section if they choose to in another season. That's called the pit, the front ensemble. That consists of marimbas, xylophones, auxiliary percussion, anything you strike that comes out with a chord or rhythmic ability. Those are bass drums. That's the section that I personally teach, that I've been marching for 4.5 years now. And this year I'm very excited to work with those particular kids. This is the second half of marching, when you're not playing the music, when you're not learning the music and learning how to maintain tempo and whatnot. You have to learn how to move as a unit. All these kids learn everything together, because when they march a show together, it's the same exact way. What they're doing right there in this part of the video is crabbing. This is my senior video, my senior year of high school in winter percussion with West Hill. This was our show that placed in finals, and a really huge achievement that I'm proud of. The show was called Contact from Beyond. It was a very creepy show concept, but we were able to perform it and convey it really well. This is indoor percussion. This is outdoor. This is Drum and Bugle Corps, DCA. That's the Connecticut Hurricanes. That's the 2013 summer show I was a part of. And it's called Rage Against the Machine. This is another one of my crowning achievements as far as marching goes, because we didn't place well this year, but the feeling you got from getting out of that show was one of the best I've ever had, and I would never give it up for anything.
Mm-hmm. Could you tell us why you decided to take the TV production course?
Well, the first reason is because I'm a journalism major and I needed it. It was necessary. But I don't like to do things just because it's a requirement. I like to try and find a reason to want to do something. So when I came into this course, I tried to think of it from the point of view of a photographer, because that's what I started out in before I did writing. I did photography, and then I found a better love for writing. And I also decided, I wanted to be logical about this. As much as I love, now that I've gone through this course, I love film, I love filming and creating these projects, I also want to be versatile. I want to make sure that when I'm starting into my career, that I don't get knocked off of the list of potential jobs because of one skill that I might not have. And I want to make sure that I can, make people look at my resume and say, I want to give her a chance because she's done so much, and let's see what she can do.
What are some of the most useful things you have learned in this course?
Really what this course taught me is to refine my skills. Because I did photography before this, I dabbled in some of the skills that I learned within this course. And when I came here, the course was able to give me names for these skills and give me proper definitions and help me to really refine and clean up whatever I was already doing. And things as simple as f-stops and how that helps the lighting and the lighting in the photos, was something that I was able to refine and make better by going through this course. One thing that I really, really was happy that I learned was editing with Avid, because it's an amazing skill to have, because anybody could go out and take a picture, but knowing how to edit and make it look professional is what really counts. So I'm very happy that I was able to get that skill in this course.
Please tell us about the Student Studies Short, Teacup Project, Fall Foliage Project, and the Orange Project.
All of those projects were very difficult in their own way, and I loved that about them because they created a challenge that I had to overcome. And I was able to use the different skills that we learned in this course to bring each one out and, in my opinion, give them a certain flair of my own individuality. And to create something that has my name on it more than just the name of Stoney when he gave us the project. Stoney being my teacher. So the projects. The first one was Student Studies Short, when we really just got to play around with the camera. I enjoyed doing this project just so that way I could learn, like the different types of shots you could do, the close-ups, the medium shots, the long shots, which, like I said before, I dabbled in doing photography, but I could never give a proper definition and name to them, and this project was able to define those different types of shots for me. The Teacup Project was where I got to have a little fun, because while we were given a particular shot list we had to follow, We also had to improvise in some areas where we didn't have the proper thing. So for example, I didn't have a kettle that I could use, so I had to write in shots and write in different scenes where I would have to go, where my actors would have to go over to the stove and pour that water in, which is, wasn't a part of the original plan, but it got me thinking on what I would have to do. Next is the fall project. I like this one because it was so, the guidelines as to what we had to do were very ambiguous. We just had to get certain composition rules, and it's such as rule of thirds and lines of stability and lines of grace, and that left me with a lot of possibilities to really play around with this project and show it off. And I think I did well doing that. And that was the real challenge of this project. I didn't have a full guideline to follow. I just had to be creative. The orange project was the hardest one for me because I had nothing but my teachings and my idea to go off of. And when I look back on it, I am extremely proud of the way it came out, even though there were some things I wish I could go back and change. But the fact that this is all something that I did is what makes me really, really proud of it.
Tell us about your best project.
I believe my best project is the fall foliage project. Like I said before, it had a very ambiguous guidelines and only had composition rules that we would have to follow. And like I said, it made me have to think outside the box. And in the project, I would have to come up with these different shots that showed lines of stability and lines of emotion, and it just made me question, like, I never knew that plants and nature could have these lines. I mean, these are things that I would normally find in human beings, but never nature. While nature is beautiful, I never thought of it in the way that I had to when I had to do this project. And it helped me gain a respect and a different view of nature, because I had to find different point of views in something that I never thought I would look at for so long. And it took me about 3 days to get these shots, so I was looking at nature quite a lot while I was getting these shots.
You mentioned the variety of things you have learned in this course. What was the most interesting and important skill you learned, and how will you put it to use?
I think there's 3 skills. One of them is my least favorite yet very useful, and it's knowing how to do the paperwork. And the other is editing the work, and then the patience to be able to do both of those. There's a lot of people who have raw talent, and when they do their work, you can tell immediately that they can make an impact on anybody's life with what they do. But unless they have refined skills, that'll never happen. Anyone in this day and age can pick up a video camera or their phone and just make this video and pass it off as something that can be shared and followed all over the world. But someone who knows how to properly edit that video and properly get their message out there is who is going to truly make the biggest difference, because things like that are remembered more than a small little video taken on a phone camera. And that personally is my opinion. One other thing I really liked that I learned too was the use of tripod. I'm a photographer that loves to move. When I take photos, I'm always all over the place. I never had time for a tripod. But when I had to make time for a tripod, it helped me to learn how to use equipment even in the worst situations.
Today we got to meet someone who shared with us a perspective that continues to grow with every experience, from music to film to writing. We were able to learn a lot about this new TV director. I would like to thank our guest, Andy, for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed meeting some of television's future directors, and we hope you will continue to join us each week to watch our progress. Thank you and good day.
This has been The New Directors with your host James Bell, your director Wild Hammies, and your announcer Jared Williams. The New Director of Noah Community